He thought I was gone. He thought I'd quietly move on while he flaunted her in my apartment, in the bed we shared. But he didn't know I still had the photos. The ones that would make her question everything, and make him wish he'd never crossed me. I met Lucas when I was 25 and trying to rebuild my life after my mom passed. He was everything I thought I needed: charming, warm, funny, and just messy enough to seem real. He made me feel seen when I felt invisible. We started as co-workers in a small media company. He worked in content strategy, I was in design. I remember the way he used to bring me coffee without asking, like he already knew how I took it. It was sweet at first, thoughtful. But now looking back, I see how fast he moved. How calculated it was. Within 6 months we were living together. The apartment was mine, my name on the lease, my furniture, my decorations. But he brought the warmth. Or so I thought. First it felt like love. He would dance with me in the kitchen while making pancakes on Sundays. He'd kiss me on the forehead before I left for work. He'd send me texts midday that said things like, "I miss your face and can't wait to see you tonight." But slowly little cracks started to show. The first red flag? His phone. He'd always keep it face down. And he never left it behind, not even when he showered. When I joked about it once, he got defensive. "You're being paranoid," he said. "Don't ruin what we have with your insecurities." I let it go. That's what love does to you, right? It makes you excuse what you shouldn't. It makes you doubt your gut. Then came the late-night texts. The ones he claimed were from work friends. The emergency work dinners. The sudden shifts in his tone when he came home, like he was somewhere else. And then there was the perfume. Not mine. Sweet. Floral. Young. I didn't wear perfume like that. The first time I smelled it on him, I froze. I remember sitting on the couch after he hugged me, and that scent clung to my hoodie. "Whose perfume is this?" I asked. He blinked, then laughed. "You're imagining things again. It's probably the laundry detergent at work." I nodded, but my stomach turned. Still I stayed, because admitting the truth felt heavier than pretending. I thought, if I just love him harder, maybe he'll come back to me. Maybe this is just a phase. But things didn't get better. He started sleeping on the couch, claiming back pain. He barely touched me. He barely looked at me. And then he asked me to leave. Just like that. No fight. No explanation. "I think we need space," he said. "You should go stay with your sister for a bit." It was so cold. Like he was done pretending. So I left. Heartbroken, confused, but still holding on to hope, because deep down I still believed he loved me. Or at least that he'd remember what we had. I stayed at my sister Emily's for 2 weeks. But on the 12th night, I got a text from my neighbor downstairs. Her name's Carol. Sweet lady. Retired schoolteacher. Nosy in a kind way. She wrote, "Hi sweetheart. Sorry to bother you, but I saw a woman going into your apartment with Lucas again. Tall blonde, high heels. Just thought you should know." My heart dropped. Again? That meant it wasn't the first time. I didn't reply. I just sat there, phone in hand, breathing like someone had knocked the air out of me. So this was it. He wasn't lonely or confused. He was cheating. Right in my apartment. Probably in my bed. The rage that burned in my chest that night. I can't describe it. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, heart pounding, thoughts racing. At 7 a.m. I made a decision. I was going back to that apartment. Not to fight. Not to beg. But to see for myself. I had keys. It was still my name on the lease. I arrived around 9 a.m., quietly unlocking the door. It smelled like cheap perfume. The same floral scent I'd smelled on him weeks ago. There were 2 coffee mugs on the counter. A scarf draped over the arm of the couch. And a pink toothbrush in the bathroom. Mine was gone. I walked through the apartment like a ghost. Like a stranger in my own home. But I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I walked straight to the bedroom and opened the drawer where I kept an old hard drive. Lucas had always plugged his phone into my laptop, and the autosync feature had backed up dozens of photos to my external drive over the months. I hadn't looked at it in ages, but something told me to open it now. And there it was. A folder labeled Recents. Hundreds of photos. First just selfies. Random shots from months ago. Then ones of him. And her. In my kitchen. On my couch. Lying on my sheets. One in particular made my stomach twist, him shirtless, holding her waist, with a timestamp from just 4 nights ago. He had told me he was out of town. I saved them all. Every single one. Then I left. 2 days later I got a message from Lucas. Like nothing had happened. "Hey, can we talk?" I think I might have made a mistake. I almost laughed. Instead I replied, "Sure. Let's meet at the apartment." He came the next afternoon. Alone. Hair done, shirt tight, that same smug look he always wore when he thought he had control. He hugged me like I was someone he missed. I stepped back. "Where's your new girlfriend?" I asked casually. His face froze. What are you talking about?" I smiled. "You brought her to my apartment. Multiple times. Carol downstairs even waved to her." Still he tried to lie. "You're imagining things again, babe." That's when I showed him the photos. I'd printed 5 of them. Full size. Glossy. I spread them out on the coffee table like cards. He turned pale. "You went through my stuff?" he whispered. "No," I said calmly. "You left your secrets right where I could find them." He started to speak, but I stopped him. "Don't. It's over." Then with perfect timing there was a knock on the door. She was standing there. His new girlfriend. I had invited her. Through a fake Instagram account I created. Pretending to be a woman warning her about a cheating man. She walked in confused at first. Then she saw the photos. Her jaw dropped. Lucas tried to block her view. "It's not what it looks like," he stammered. But it was. She stared at me. "You were his girlfriend?" she asked. "Live-in girlfriend. For 2 years." She shook her head in disbelief. Lucas looked like he might throw up. I handed her the envelope with all the printed photos. "I thought you deserved to know," I said. "Before he does the same to you." She took them silently, then walked out. Lucas chased after her, but she slammed the stairwell door behind her. I stood there alone in the apartment. Mine again. And I didn't feel sad. I felt free. I didn't sleep that night. The weight of betrayal and fury crushed my chest like a boulder. Every time I closed my eyes I saw Jake smirk, the way he casually brought her to our apartment like I was nothing. Like we were nothing. But what he didn't know, what he could never guess, was that he just handed me the perfect tool for revenge. In the morning I dragged myself out of bed and made coffee like a robot. My fingers trembled as I held the cup, my mind replaying every detail of last night. I pulled out my phone again, scrolling through the hidden photos I'd found in his cloud account. Some were innocent, but some were deeply personal. Photos of us. And worse, photos he took without me knowing. The ones he thought were long gone. He forgot to delete them. And that's when the first idea sparked. By noon I had a full plan, one that would require patience, a little acting, and the kind of quiet vengeance only someone deeply wounded could pull off. The next few days I went completely silent. I didn't text Jake, didn't confront him. I wanted him to think I was humiliated, crushed, that I ran off into a corner to cry. And that's exactly what he believed. I knew Jake well, he thrived on power. And silence. Silence made him feel powerful. But behind that silence I was watching. From my friend Rita's place I logged into the apartment complex's smart system. Jake never changed the password. I still had admin access to everything. The thermostat, the security cameras, even the visitor logs. I could see exactly when they came and went. He was getting comfortable bringing her over more often. He'd even moved a few of her things into our apartment. I counted a pink toothbrush, a half-used bottle of perfume, and one of her scarves tossed casually over the couch. That's when I took the next step. I reached out to Mia. Mia was the girl he cheated on me with a year ago. The one I foolishly forgave him for. Turns out, forgiveness only lasts until betrayal repeats itself. She wasn't thrilled to hear from me, but when I told her I had something that might interest her, she agreed to meet. We grabbed coffee at a quiet cafe downtown, where I laid it all out. The cheating, the girlfriend, the photos, even the way he used both of us. Mia leaned in, eyes narrowing. "He told me you were the crazy one. That you cheated on him." I let out a bitter laugh. "Let me guess, he said the same about you?" Her jaw clenched. "Exactly." We exchanged numbers not as friends, but as survivors of the same storm. And more importantly, co-conspirators. The first phase of the plan began with subtle sabotage. I had access to his online calendar, where he noted important client meetings and business dinners. Jake was always forgetful and relied on those reminders to keep his job afloat. So I started moving his appointments, just by an hour. First, then more. Until one day I deleted them entirely. The next thing I knew, Rita called me laughing hysterically. He showed up to his boss's birthday dinner on the wrong night. He was humiliated. I smiled but didn't feel satisfied. Not yet. He still had that girl. And he still had my apartment. But not for long. Mia came through in a way I didn't expect. She was still following him on Instagram with a burner account and started feeding me screenshots. Photos he posted. Stories he shared. One in particular caught my eye. It was them at a cabin upstate. Captioned, "Weekend escape with my peace." My stomach turned. Peace? He used to call me that. But what he didn't know was that cabin. It belonged to his friend Oliver. The same Oliver I once helped out of a DUI by lying to the cops. He owed me. I called him. "Hey Oliver. I need a favor." Oliver didn't hesitate. He let me know which weekend they'd be back in the city. And with that, I made sure to be waiting at the apartment when they arrived. I sat in the living room, lights off, legs crossed. Calm. Collected. Jake walked in first, carrying her suitcase. When he saw me, he froze. "What the hell are you doing here?" His girlfriend stepped in behind him, confused. I smiled. "I live here. Remember?" He looked ready to explode. "You can't just barge in." "Jake," I interrupted. "You never took my name off the lease." Then I turned to her. "And you must be Emily." She gave a hesitant nod. "Nice to meet you. Did Jake tell you he and I used to live together?" Her eyes darted between us. Jake tried to cut in, but I held up a flash drive. "Before you decide anything, maybe take a look at these." I handed it to her. "It's a copy of everything he forgot to delete." Jake lunged forward, but I stood up calmly. "Touch me and I press charges." He stopped cold. Emily stared at the flash drive like it was a ticking bomb. And maybe it was. "I'll be back for my stuff," I said, heading toward the door. "Until then, enjoy the apartment. Rent's due in 4 days." And with that, I left him speechless. But I wasn't done. 3 days later, Jake called me. 10 times. I didn't answer. Then Mia texted me. She dumped him. Said he tried to lie his way out, but the photos were too much. She's staying with her sister now. I smiled and opened my laptop, logged into my email, and hit send on the final part of my plan. An anonymous tip to his employer. Screenshots of him at a bar while claiming to be in meetings. Time-stamped. Location tagged. With that, I closed my laptop and finally took a breath. This wasn't about jealousy anymore. It was about closure. And Jake? He got exactly what he deserved. I didn't sleep that night. My mind kept replaying every lie. Every moment I overlooked something that should have been obvious. But the biggest thing spinning in my head? Not James. Not Claire. It was the silence. The stillness of my apartment, now free of his mess, his cologne, his lies. I had never realized how peaceful my space could feel. But peace wasn't my goal. Not yet. Because now that I had Claire's number, and she had mine, the game had just begun. I waited a full week. During that time, James tried to text me twice. Both times were as pathetic as you'd expect. "I just want to explain. You're blowing things out of proportion." Blocked. I didn't even respond. He wasn't worth a single word. But Claire, she was different. She didn't message me right away, and I respected that. I could only imagine what she was processing. But on the 7th day, a text finally came through. "I believe you. I saw the rest of the photos. I'm sorry. That was all I needed." I responded, "It's not your fault. He lied to both of us." A few hours later, "Can we talk? Like actually meet?" I agreed. We met at a coffee shop far from my neighborhood. I didn't know what to expect, anger? Sadness? But when Claire walked in, her eyes looked tired yet clear. Determined. She sat down and got straight to it. I went through his phone. I saw everything. I nodded. "I figured you would." "I'm so stupid," she said bitterly. "He told me you were a stalker. Ex said you were crazy. Wouldn't leave him alone. I nearly laughed, but I could see it wasn't the time. You're not stupid, I said. He's just practiced. And disgusting. Claire looked down. I saw the timestamps. He was still with you when he and I started dating. At the same time. Texting me sweet things while deleting messages from you. I sipped my coffee. That sounds about right. I'm done with him, she said firmly. But I can't just walk away like nothing happened. That's when I leaned in. What if you didn't have to? That afternoon, Claire and I formed a plan. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about closure, power, clarity. We'd been used, lied to, tossed around emotionally like toys. And James had walked around, smug, confident, fully believing we'd never speak. We were about to ruin that illusion. Claire had access to his apartment. More importantly, she had access to his calendar. Turns out, James was planning a big weekend. He'd invited a few friends over for a housewarming party at his new condo. A party where he'd be showing off his new place, his freedom, and no doubt spinning some new lies. And we were going to crash it in style. The day of the party, I walked into a boutique I couldn't normally afford. Claire had insisted, her treat. If we're going to do this, we do it right, she said. I didn't argue. We both picked out classy, fierce outfits. Not too flashy, but unmistakably powerful. We didn't want to look desperate. We wanted to look done. As the sun set, we parked outside James's building. Claire's hands were shaking slightly. You okay? I asked. She nodded. Just finishing this. You know. I know. And with that we walked in. The party was already buzzing. James hadn't noticed us yet. We slipped in like guests. I recognized a few of his friends. Most hadn't seen me in months. Some looked surprised. Some smirked. But no one dared say a word. And then, he saw us. James froze mid-laugh, drink in hand, as he locked eyes with both of us standing side by side. I wish I had a photo of his face in that moment. The color drained from him. His new friends noticed. Hey James, who are they? He stuttered. Oh, that's We walked straight up. Claire was the one who spoke first. Hi everyone. I'm Claire. And I'm Mia, I added. We're James's girlfriends. Dead silence. You could hear the ice clinking in the glasses. James started stumbling backward. That's not. I mean, they're lying. This is some sick joke. Claire reached into her purse and pulled out a stack of printed photos. I had emailed her everything. The photos of him in bed. The screenshots. The timestamps. The messages he forgot to delete. One by one she handed them out like flyers. This is your friend, she said to the crowd. Enjoy the party. James tried to grab them, but people were already reading. And laughing. We didn't stay long. We didn't need to. The damage was done. James's face was ashen. His friends were whispering. And Claire, before leaving, looked him dead in the eyes and said, I hope you enjoy the loneliness you worked so hard to earn. Then we walked out. Side by side. Heads high. He never saw us again. In the weeks that followed, something inside me changed. I got a raise at work. I started painting again. I even went on a trip alone. Something I'd always dreamed of but never had the courage to do. Claire and I kept in touch. We weren't best friends, but there was a bond there. Born from betrayal, healed by truth. As for James, last I heard he'd moved to a different city. His name popped up on a dating forum once. Someone complaining about being ghosted after a few weeks of charm and lies. I smiled when I read it. Some people never change. But me? I did. And I'd never go back. If you've ever had to rebuild yourself after betrayal, know this. You're not alone, and your strength is more powerful than any lie. Subscribe, like, and share for more powerful stories, and remember, karma doesn't forget.